Author Talk Short, everyone. We are continuing talking to romance authors that are also going to be speakers at Lovapalooza. You have me and Russell here today, and we're talking with Raisa. I believe I said that right. Names sometimes can be tricky for me, and I want to make sure that I do your name justice because I understand what it's like to have sometimes a difficult name to say. My last name is extremely difficult, which is
Nobody can say your name.
Yeah,
That does not live in Houston.
That's why it's not on here because it's extremely difficult. But you are a romance author. You're going to be speaking at Lovapalooza. So tell us a little bit about how you got into being a romance author and what kind of romance you write.
Okay. Raisa Greywood, USA Today bestseller. I started writing romance about 8 years ago, maybe.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's actually funny. My husband and I have been married 27 years. We are the original enemies to lovers. We hated each other with an unholy passion.
I was like that too. My wife hated me for a year and a half before she'd go out with me. She went out with me, Raisa, to teach her boyfriend a lesson.
Yes. So my husband and I hated each other for probably 5 years.
Okay.
And our mutual best friend betted me $20 that I would not marry my husband. I still owe him $20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've been married 27 years. So I guess that's a long-term romance story, but everybody deserves a happy ever after. Everybody deserves to find the love of their life. And if you can't, you deserve to read about it, and it deserves to be sexy. So I started writing when my daughter was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think high school. She's been out of high school for 8 years. She works for a military contractor in aviation, and she's doing beautifully and is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful geeky girl. Every girl should be a geek, you know?
Yes.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so I started writing, and I'm really a fan of enemies to lovers because I'm living in enemies to lovers.
Yeah. I love that. You kind of turned your story and your experience in love into your inspiration for writing that kind of romance, which
Yes.
I admire 100%. So what kind of romance do you write? Is this like steamy? Is it just a sweet romance? I am new to the romance genres. Like I have mentioned on several of these, I like murder mystery. Killing people is my thing. It's scary, but that's my thing. And so I'm learning a lot about this romance genre and the terminology. Like I have learned about alpha holes and just all kinds of different things. Dark romance.
Raisa, that's her new favorite word.
It truly is my new favorite. I didn't even know that word existed, and now I'm just like, I love this word. Like I've used it and I love it, and I'm adopting it. I'm adopting that word. But is it more like a dark romance? Is it like a sweet contemporary? What kind of romance can we expect from your books?
I do not write sweet romance.
Okay.
At all. I want open door. I want intimacy. I want sexy. I want it to be smart and brilliant and hot. I am not a closed door person.
Okay.
If you read one of my books, you're going to see all of the dirty. You're going to see all of the open door scenes. You're going to see people oral and probably anal, and there's going to be toys, and there's going to be people screaming, and there's going to be all of the dirty things that you should expect in a romance novel. And of course, everybody has their preferences. Some people like that that closed door intimacy. Some people like not seeing the dirty stuff on the page, and that's okay for them. That is not what I write.
Okay. That makes sense. I should have got that from your title because I'm on your Amazon author page. And the one book that is like popped up right here is Jennifer's Christmas Daddy, Holiday Daddy Dom's book 1. So I should have totally just looked over and gotten it from the name. But tell us, how many books have you written?
Everybody always asks me that. I think it's 27.
Nice.
I can't remember.
Hey, that's okay. If you lose count of how many books you've written, then you're doing something right, in my opinion, because you can have 100 books, you can have 30 books, however many, but you have so many. I've seen, the Booklight book 24 you have on here, and then Their Wanted Bride. You have so many. I mean, I can just keep scrolling. The little scroll bar on the side of my window is, one of those I can continuously scroll. And I think that that's amazing. And you're a USA Today bestseller. So congratulations. Yes. That's amazing.
How did that happen, Raisa? How did it happen to be the USA?
I was asked to participate in a box set in an anthology, actually, called Dirty Daddies 2021. And it was a list run. So it was kind of serendipity, I guess. Maybe. The Dirty Daddies anthology is always very, very popular. It always sells very well. And for last year's anthology, it was also a list run, which means the authors and the publishers and the producers set it up so that it would go to all retailers, not just Amazon. It would go to Barnes and Noble and Apple and Kobo, etc., and be advertised heavily, which unfortunately is almost the only way to hit a bestseller list at this time. So
yeah.
Well, of course, it's because there's millions of books out there, and
I'm sorry.
I said it's because there's millions of books out there, and your potential readers, it's hard for them to find you, right?
Yes.
Without that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So has your other book sales gone up since you were in that anthology?
Yeah, they have. And I have been doing some marketing on other platforms. I'm really promoting my other platforms instead of Amazon.
Okay.
I'm promoting Barnes and Noble and Kobo especially. This was actually a surprise to me. I'm apparently very popular in Italy.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Toledo is one of my better sellers, and I never expected that to happen. I'm absolutely delighted by this. But it was not something that I thought would ever happen.
You need to do a book signing tour through Italy.
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds like a really good time.
Yes, it would be Italy, tax deductible.
I would love to go to Lake Como, and also oh my gosh, pretty much the entire border with Italy and Switzerland. That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, husband.
We have a trip. Russell's my world traveler, so he would know a lot about. I'm doing good to, barely leave my state of Texas. I am just a Texas girl through and through. Russell does all my traveling, and I live vicariously through him on all of that, for sure. But I know that you're going to be a speaker at Lovapalooza. So what are some of the things that you're going to be talking about?
Dialogue for authors, because dialogue is a really wonderful way to communicate ideas and thoughts. It can be snarky, it can be sweet, it can be sexy. Dialogue is how authors develop characters, and I'm told I'm good at it.
No, well, that is the biggest compliment because I can relate to that. I hear authors all the time when they struggle with banter back and forth with characters or how to like develop it through a dialogue scene or something like that. So I can see where dialogue could be a strength or a weakness. You can be really good at it or you can really need help with it. So I think that is wonderful.
Raisa, I have a question about that. So how do you maintain or develop different voices for your characters within your dialogue? Is there anything you do special for that?
I think a lot of the time I look at where my characters are coming from. In the book I'm currently writing, which is the second full novel of the Club Apocalypse series, my male main character is, oops, there he goes. My male main character is from Alabama, from Bayou La Batre.
Okay, is he a Roll Tide fan?
I'm sorry?
Is he like a big Alabama football Roll Tide fan?
No.
Oh my goodness.
He is definitely not a football fan. He has a slight Southern accent that he tries to hide.
Okay.
He grew up in less than ideal economic circumstances, which he also tries to hide. So what kind of accent do you think this gentleman will have? How will he speak?
Well, the interesting thing is that he's trying to hide it.
Yes, he is trying to hide it. But how will he speak if he's trying to hide it? What words will he use? What are his word choices? His lady friend, my female main character, grew up in the desert of Arizona. How will she speak? What words will she use? And you can listen to videos. You can you can go through YouTube and see how these people are talking and see what accents they're using, see what word choices they use. Is this person snarky? Is this person careless? Is she or he got an internal voice? And that's how you develop dialogue. And how do they talk to each other? How do they relate to each other? Is one person rich? Is one person poor? All of that goes into their internal dialogue and actually how they speak too.
Yeah. See, this is why I live through writers, because that would, I bet if I could just dictate a book and it would get my personality and the way that I say things across, I could nail it. But when I'm writing that and trying to convey it and have like the visual along with like the audio version going off in their head of like how they should sound and stuff, that is just incredibly difficult. So
just write snarky, Amy. You'd get your character.
I know. I mean, if I could just write them how I want things to say, but I just can't sometimes. Words are hard for me. Words, spelling, grammar, it's not my thing. Okay. I can talk all day, but having to spell stuff and punctuation is a struggle. The struggle is real.
That is why you hire a really good editor or, two. I actually, the book I recently released, Zinnia's Solstice Daddy, went out last week. And about, I guess, a day after it released, I was putting up the paperback and formatting it and sending it to Draft to Digital for publication. And I looked at this and it had a typo in the very first page. Really? How did this happen?
After you read it 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm. It was really, really irritating.
No, but those things happen though. Like, I think that's the thing. Everyone wants their book to be perfect, and I am a huge advocate that there's no such thing as like a perfect book. You're always going to find things wrong with it, things that need to be changed, and that's why there's second, third, fourth editions, new. This is new and improved because we're all human. Things get overlooked, things happen all the time. So I absolutely am a huge advocate for it. But Raisa, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and talk to us about
having me.
Absolutely. Talk about your books and Love-A-Palooza, which you guys know starts June 17th and it goes through the 26th. The 24th through the 26th are live days, interactive. Make sure you come get all your questions answered, hear from all these authors, readings, all of these things. You're going to make sure you're going to want to check it out. But thank you so much for doing this and just talking to us. I absolutely loved it. So
Thank you, Raisa.
Until next time, you guys. Yes, it has been an Author Talk Short, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.